Oh, what's going on, everyone? How you doing? We're here again. It's another live streaming event here. Oh, look at my hair. It looks all kind of discombobulated a bit. Let me see if I can adjust that. Otherwise, my hair is going to disappear soon. Oh. Much better, much better. How you all doing tonight? What's going on? It's Thursday, August 19th. Here it is, 8 o'clock. As always, on Thursdays, we're smoking cigars and drinking coffee. But in the other order, coffee and cigars first. It has to be coffee because, you know, that's what I do for a living. And so we got to make it look legit, right? So how y'all doing this weekend? Or this week? Yeah, how y'all doing? Let's see. Oh, Jordan's here already ready. What's going on, Di? Good to see you. Welcome on. Can you hear the fan? Yeah, there's some fans running. I'm trying a different setup right now. So I've got the air conditioning running. I've got the fan on my desk running to blow cool air onto me. And I've got another fan blowing air out the door. And so I've been trying to figure out how to keep the air conditioning in the space. And so as I've been smoking here during the week, I've been trying this new setup where the air conditioner is running and it blows it straight out. Oh, if I run the normal exhaust system, the exhaust intake to pull the smoke out of the building and the output of the air conditioning is really close. And so it actually sucks the cold air straight from the air conditioner and it just kind of bypasses the rest of the place. And so I've been trying to find a way around that. And I think I found it by running the AC with turning off of the main evacuation, you know, the main vacuum, and putting a fan in the doorway and seeing how that works. And actually, I've been in here even in the heat this week, in the little space that I've been sitting in, it's been pretty darn cold. So I've got this vortex in the other room, but that's the other room. So I'm trying to push it into this room, and I've got another fan above that pulls it out towards the other room. It's all ridiculous. So hopefully it doesn't sound too bad. Like on my headphones, I can hear it, but hopefully it's not too bad. Anyway, we're here. Thank you very much for tuning in. Rusty, good to see you too, man. So we got Rusty, Di, George. Yeah, I hope it works. The studio air, less smoking. So, you know, here's the interesting thing. Speaking of smoky, like if I don't turn the fan on in here and I'm smoking my cigars, usually, man, after a while, I'm just had enough. Like it's just too much and I have to vent somehow, right? But last week's show, when we're doing the War Zone from Espinosa, that short Churchill, I smoked the entire cigar, and I remember saying that it wasn't really hot, right? But I forgot to turn on the exhaust system. So actually, I smoked that entire 2 hours. The smoke filled the room, and when I got up after the show and I was looking around, I said, "Oh, okay, you can kind of see it lightly." So it's interesting that Espinosa War Zone had such nice flavor, but wasn't the powerhouse. Like most of the cigars that I'm smoking are Tatuaje. They're Romacraft, you know, they're cigars with a lot of, right? They got a lot of punch to them. And so you really need to vent. And so I thought it was really, really interesting. Like I'm planning to buy more of these Warzone Espinosa because I think they're a nice, good draw, good flavor, something for daily smoking and enjoyable, you know. Yes, I've been trying to MacGyver. It's really, really, this whole science of fluid dynamics really is very tricky. Like I'll sit here and in the other room, and you know we've got a stream of air from the outside, like so we leave the doorway on, right? It's a narrow room, right? Narrow. And we have the door back here, and the exhaust is up here. And so the theory is that as you open the door, and we're pulling 3,000 CFM, that it's just gonna pull and out. No, God, it's going this way, it's going that way, it's going everywhere, but out the exhaust. Well, it is going out the exhaust, but it's just taking a long way to get there. So I don't know. It's very difficult. It's very difficult. It didn't look smoky last week. That's good. That's good because and I do think it has to do with the selection of cigar now because the fan wasn't on and it was it was manageable. Like normally I can't do that, right? All right, so let's stop talking. Let's stop talking, and we're going to go on to our coffee of the week. And so this week we're going to be doing this Gitembe from Kenya, roasted by a friend of mine at the Democratic Coffee Place in Copenhagen, Denmark. So what we're going to use today, we're going to use the Chemex. And I don't know if you guys are familiar with the Chemex. Chemex is designed in 1941, I believe, by Schlumbaum, this guy Schlumbaum from New York State. And this is the Chemex. And it's actually a part of the Museum of Modern Art in New York City because it's American design, American made. The original was hand-blown glass, so kind of like Pyrex type of glass. And it had this collar, this wood collar that wrapped around it. I like the ones with the glass handles because we use this in the shops and it's much easier to deal with washing and cleaning and all that when everything's glass instead of having to deal with this wood collar that's held on by leather string. So the Chemex is something that people really love and it's a great device. It's really kind of pretty, right? It's a pretty device. But here's the thing. So people always say, well, people always want to do something like Chemex. They're like Chemex. But then the real thing about Chemex is the glass is important. Sure. The glass has some effect. But the most important aspect of a Chemex that makes it a Chemex is the actual filter. The pine-based filter, paper filter that they make for Chemex has a particular way of extracting the coffee, and it gives a particular character to a coffee. When you don't use that, you may be using this, but you're not making a Chemex, right? Does that make sense? So we're going to make the Chemex that's not a Chemex. We're going to use this stainless steel cone, and this is one I've had for a while. This is made by a company called Kova. They're down in Portland, Oregon. Made in the USA. Kova, and it's this metal thing that has perforations. Can you see me? I don't know. It's hard to see. And that doesn't look very clean, does it? Huh. Anyway, micro perforations, but still the micro perforations I think are still bigger than the space between the fibers of the wood fibers and the paper. So it gives a completely different tasting experience. And that's what we're going to try today. So in order to combat that, because it's more porous than the Chemex filter, to compensate for that, I ground the coffee a bit finer than I would normally have, right? So hopefully that fineness is enough to retard the flow of water through the grinds, right? Because typically there's going to be the grinds provide resistance to the water flow as well as the filter, right? The tighter the weave or the tighter the fibers of the filter, the more resistance. And the more resistance you give to the water flow through the coffee, the greater the extraction, right? Does that make sense? Okay. So now we're going to take it and pour it here. 24 grams again, which doesn't really fill it up very much, does it? Can you see that? No, you really can't. A little bit. There it is. Yeah, not bad. Okay, so we're going to take our water. Hopefully I won't burn myself again like last week. So we're going to add, let's do some timing with it. We're going to time up just to see the flow. So I'm adding just a little bit. See, here's the thing. I'm adding just a little bit. You have to add to the center. Otherwise, look at that. Already, it's flowing through. There's really no resistance at all to the coffee with these metal filters. You really need to go, I probably even need to have gone much finer. So I'm really just kind of barely brewing. Hey, Pelita, how are you? Nice to joining us today. How's it going? Making drip coffee. Yeah, we're making the Chemex. We're using the Chemex body, but we're using the Kova metal filter that they designed for the Chemex. And we're using a Gitembe Kenya, Gitembe from Kenya. And George, 12 grams coffee. Yes, 24 grams of coffee to make 12 ounces. It's actually closer to 14 ounces of water total. There's going to be a little bit more absorption because of the absorption, right? So as you notice, it's flowing pretty fast. Oh, it's not. You can't notice if I keep that. You can't notice if I keep the. And you can't notice if I. Let me see if I can adjust this green screen again. I know that way. All right, there we go. That's better. So the problem with this, as you can see, is that it's flowing really fast, really fast. So even though I've gone much finer than I would have for the Chemex with the paper filter, the paper Chemex filter, the FC100 or the FS100, it's not fine enough to keep holding the extraction. So like we're at 2 minutes now, and we're maybe halfway through, but really it's not. It's just because it's flowed through. It's not really doing anything. We're just passing time, and I'm brewing this terribly. The steam of the Chemex reactor. I know. Look at that thing. It's so crazy. So, oh, I think I should do that. Yes. So our basic ratio here is always 2 grams for every finished ounce. Normally. It certainly looks that way. Like I did the live stream that I do on Tuesday mornings for the Spro channel. That was very tea-like. That was kind of... I was using the... look at this thing. I mean, it's really, even from my perspective, it's really brown. Like if I turn this let me turn this banner off. Look at that, boom. Look at that. Even on camera, it looks really brown. Like not dark, but just brown. We're at 3 minutes, 22 seconds, and we really should be going faster. All right, let's go a little bit faster. Look, I just hate the way it just flows out of there. Look at that. It makes you wonder, what are you brewing with this? Why people are so obsessed in specialty coffee for these kind of metal filters, I don't understand. Like, I guess maybe they want to love the environment and not have to waste paper, but paper's carbon neutral, and it's not like you're putting plastic forks in the ground. Which, by the way, the plastic fork that we were using when we were children, it's still there. All right, I think that's going to be it. We are now at 4 minutes, 15 seconds, and that is just not very nice. That doesn't. It's. Look how little there is. Look at that. This can't be correct. This can't be right. All right, let's look at the growth. So I bought this metal filter years ago just because, look at that. It looks like it could be, I don't know, maybe it should be even finer than that. Oh, well, there's a nice fruity citrusiness to it, which may be a nice complementary aroma to our cigar tonight. Oh, Matthew, how's it going, man? Good to see you. Welcome from Florida. So this is the Gitembe Kenya from Democratic Coffee Roasters in Copenhagen, Denmark. And we brewed it using the Kova metal filter for the Chemex, which has nice aromatics. Nice citrus fruit. I'm kind of liking it. Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. That filter, well, honestly, that filter's been, I washed it today. It's been sitting around for a couple of years, or for a few years. I probably bought that thing, well, I bought it when it first came out. So what's that, almost 10 years? All right, let's see. Let's pour now. We're going to pour. We're getting decent amount, almost 0.2 liter, almost 200 mils right there. Let's have a look. The clarity's nice. Well, it's not that clear. Actually, it's got a lot of, from my viewpoint, and I don't know if it doesn't look like so much on the camera, but you can see a lot of, and when I put the light on it, it's reflecting on a lot of sediment. So let's see if I can get that to work here. Does that make sense? But the sediments, that's to be expected because the perforations of the filter are still allowing sediments and oils to come through. So you can actually even see on the, you can't really see, it's hard to see. But on the top here, you can actually see some of the oils floating on top. Now this coffee, you know, the guys at Democratic Coffee in Copenhagen, they of course are big light roasting fans. Like that's what they love. You know, in Scandinavia they love light roasts, and so there's gonna be that light brightness to it. And you're getting that juicy light, but there's not enough development. Like, there's not enough development because of the brewing. I think the brewing was definitely in need of more extraction. Because I've had this coffee quite a lot over the time, and it's normally much better than this. Like, it's very bright, it's very lemony, light, there's not much body to it. Like, it's very juicy, but also kind of dry. Like the finish on the palate is very quick. Like it's like you get this brightness, lemony, done. Brightness, lemony, the is the very important detail. Yeah, no doubt. It is messed up. It's messed up here. It's missing. It's got that right, and the is the whole. It's the whole thing right there. Yes, we're forking. Yes, your forks are still there. Yes, I agree with that. I definitely agree. I think and that's the thing. The Chemex, the paper, the Chemex filter that's made by Chemex for this, with the pine has less porosity. I like that term. Less porosity, so it holds back the water, which allows it to brew better. You know, like I can actually pour, like the moment you add water through it, it flows through the coffee and it flows right through the perforations. Whereas when you have the paper provides enough resistance. So the water pools up in the coffee bed to give it to allow it to extract. Right? Oh, thank you, Kalita. Thank you. Yeah, that's going right over the cliff. That's like going over the edge down the cliff. So, Kalita, where are you from? Tell us. Are you tuning in locally or coming from somewhere else on the planet? All right, so that's this might be nice if I put it with sugar and mixed it with iced tea, and maybe like an Arnold Palmer. Which we would call that? We could call that the, I don't know, something Palmer. All right, we're gonna set that aside and start on our cigar of the evening. So how's everyone doing? Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate you being here. If you happen to be watching on the replay, drop your comments in the below. All right, so today we're going back to Tobacco Leaf in Jessup. I don't know if you saw that, but I think he's having cigar dinners like last night, tonight. Yeah. Anyway, so we're smoking here the Fruit Leather LCA Robusto. Oh, there we go. It's got this fun label. Let's take this off. So these are $11, and evidently, so my understanding is that this cigar comes from a group called the Privada Cigar Club, and Privada Cigar Club is a private cigar club. Privada, of course, private cigar club, where people sign up and for $26 a month, they send them a bunch of cigars, and evidently they're really, really good, and people really enjoy them, and people are crazy to get them. However, they decided that, oh, you know what, since people are trying to get them, let's make some for retailers. And this is one of the ones that came out that's for the retailers. Fruit Leather. And it's supposed to celebrate the fruit leather, the fruit roll-up. Like essentially, this is fruit roll-up. George said, yeah, it's a pretty shiny. Look at that oiliness. You're right, look at that. It feels nice. Smooth. That's terrible. That's terrible. Okay, let me adjust the, I must adjust the green screen again. Now that we've got rid of the coffee. There we go. Oh, look, that cowlick went away. Nice. So Di says, all my latte art is coming at labs like abstract art, so I'm going to need, yes, absolutely. So here's the key, Di, is what you want to do is get the milk to swirl, right? So that you and only stretch the milk a little bit. So like, let's say this is your total volume of liquid milk. You only want to reach it that much more in volume of steam milk. Now, if you're using that La Pavoni Europicola, it's going to be harder because it just doesn't have a lot of force. So you really have to ride right at the edge of the milk to get enough flow and steam to stretch it. Okay, that's what you need to do. And once you get that, then the texturing is a lot easier. The pouring of the latte is much easier. All right, so George wants to know what the cap's going to look like. Okay, let's see if we get luck in. Oh, look at that. Is that green? Yep, the fruit leather is green. Look at that. All right, here's the cap. Oh, come on. All right, so now we're going to cut. There's a sweet spot where if I go too close, it won't, it's harder to lock on. Oh, it will stay there though. Okay. So we're going to cut. The difficult part is that I'm really not seeing what I'm doing. Like I can only see it on camera. Oh, and I cut that wrong. Look at that. Terrible. You'd think that I was just starting this. Okay, there we go. Not bad, not bad, not bad. Enter the Xikar MTX by Xikar. This is what you need if you want to get serious about cutting your scope. Okay, so let's have some. There's a light barnyard, but not that kind of like manure barnyard, like the light manure, like maybe like doggy manure rather than cow and horse, right? Like the cow and the horse is heavier, right? Heavier, more bolder. Maybe the doggy one is a little bit lighter, right? This is a little bit lighter on the manure. Cold draw now. When a cold draw is tight, Kind of some hay-ish. I would say hay-ish. Pleasant. All right, let's light. We're going to light. We're going to use our... Whose lighter is this? I don't know. But this lighter, it's a Portagas lighter. I think I got it free from Portagas. Not because they're sponsoring me, just because they gave it away free with, like, what cigars you bought. We're not sponsored by anyone here. All of our cigars are purchased at the retail level. And George says, hay and horse is always a good combo. Well, great, great. It's starting off nice. There's a slight, well, let's get into the, let's make sure we get it fully lit. Okay, fully lit now. And I need to adjust this fan because it is just, the problem with blowing a fan towards you in the face is when the smoke is, it blows, never mind. You get it, you get it. So the idea behind this, from what little I read online, because there's very little true information about it. So Privada Cigar Club, this is a 5x50 Robusto, right? Wrapper, binder, and filler, as well as the factory, is all undisclosed. So it's all a secret. You know, a few moments ago, I was thinking there's nothing really coming out of it except maybe like a light ashiness. But actually there is kind of this, there's a dry fruit on the tongue, like this. It's strange. Kind of that, there's a slight, that kind of like pectin tardiness that you get from fruit roll-ups. That is on the tongue. Huh. That's fascinating. Huh. All right, so I looked up some information trying to find out. Yeah. They probably found it at some factory that couldn't remember where they got it from or what they were doing with it. And let's just, but it's not, it's interesting. It's interesting. I can't say it's, I'm not, I want to say, I was going to say it's not bad, but it's interesting. All right, we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. So this comes from a place called Privada Cigar Club. Actually, let me pull that up here so you guys can see as well. So this is their website. Rare, age exclusive. Savor the flavor of any occasion with our curated assortment of ultra premium goodies. The original community for a cigar club. Oh, you can join the wait list. Source from the factories behind your favorite brands. So ask any factory owner in any country about Privada and they will tell you we get it right. That's a tempting thing to call up some of these owners, but like, hey, Privada. Get farm roll, get rare, get boutique. Well, what does all that mean? I don't know what that means. Let's see. Farm roll, $20 a month. From the factory to your door, 4 ultra premium cigars for $20. Now is the chance to save. At Privada Cigar Club, we serve you the rarest and best money can buy each month. For $20, 4, that's pretty good. Until now, our monthly box consisted of 3 special cigars. With our new farm roll subscription, we provide you with the best damn daily smokers you'll ever find, and at prices never seen before. Oh, nice. Matt, well, you're always welcome. Thank you for tuning in. Really appreciate you being here, man. And anybody who needs a wonderful trumpeter, Matt is always available to fly anywhere in the world to satisfy all of your musical needs. And here's Rusty. Joined Privada last month. So what was the first 4-pack you got? Actually, to be honest with you, as I was looking earlier today at this, I did sign up for this farm roll. I was like, well, might as well check it out, right? I don't really have any subscriptions to any kind of, like I don't do any coffee subscriptions. I don't do any subscriptions except, now I'll try this. Well, my only subscription is Comcast. Farm roll means no factory involved, so it can't be from... The first 4-pack was the CEO farm, so all CAO, okay. But what does that mean, the farm roll pack? I don't know. So they have 4 cigars. I mean, it's not bad looking, you know. All right, let's see this one. Get the rare. What's the rare? Collectors, welcome to cigar heaven. So we've got the Coffee 1901 cigars, Grave Wolf aged 1 year, $11. Same price as this one. Black Label Trading Wars Killer Bee Privada James Brown exclusive Lanza. Wow, that is a age 1 year 4 months. That is a long time. That is a long name, and a very, very definitive specificity on the 1 year 4 months. What does that mean? 1 year 4 months in the Escaparate? Ooh, mysterious finds. Nice. Fruit leather. Oh, there's fruit leather. Let's see what they say about fruit leather. And they say nothing. Nothing about the fruit leather. Nobody says, not even in reviews. Oh, here, El Titan de Bronce, Sumatra Lancero. Yeah, it makes you wonder, is it the Get On Up guy or is it someone else? Maybe there's another James Brown. Oh, here, look, they read a lot about the El Titan de Bronce. George says, no way, it means they most likely means they've owned it for a year. It's always good to have a skeptic in the group. That's what we need. How come they don't have this kind of notes for the LCA, for this fruit leather? But the fruit leather still has that kind of pectin, like acidity. But it's not very dynamic yet. It's very kind of, just kind of rolling. Oh, look. There's a Mr. Robot. Mr. Robot. Oh, I guess that doesn't have anything to do with it. It has nothing to do with the... oh, yeah, nothing. Just named or inspired by one of those TV shows. Oh. I thought maybe that guy, you know, the guy that was in the Freddie Mercury movie would come out and be part of, like, you know, maybe have a smoke with you or something. That would be kind of interesting. There's a Back to the Future blend. Well, they got a lot of, like, different stuff. Yeah, Privada, it does have coffee. Let's go ahead and have a look at that. So here it is, coffee. Bold, vibrant coffee. It's more than coffee, it's experience. The ritual is worth the reward. Let's learn the roasters. Let's look at the roasters. Lineage Roasting. I don't know them. Rusty, do you know these guys? Lineage. Linarco Rodriguez. Oh, maybe is lineage that guy? I don't know. Who else do they have? Tea Keepers. Oh, they have tea. Nice. Mr. Robot was documentary? I thought it was with that guy. I thought that was a series. Anyway, I only saw like one episode. I don't even recall. George, copyright violation. And George wants to know, what's the bag weight? That's what we're looking for. Let's look. All right, so with Lineage, the Kenya Gachata coffee. Oh, here we go. Whole bean, size. 1,300 meters. I'm going to presume that these are 12-ounce bags because most specialty coffee roasters have gone to 12-ounce bags over the last 15 years. Here, Clutch out of California. Oh, here, each bag contains 14.2 grams. Oh, that's just for the... Geez, 14.2 grams for $12.50? Oh, for the 5-pack. Oh. How about for the single? Single $2.50, okay. Yeah, that, I can't remember the guy's name. What's going on, Tony? How are you, man? I'm presuming you're having your Diet Cherry Pepsi. Here, let's see. Guatemala Los Santos. Yeah, so the clutch is in 12-ounce bags. Oops. Youngstown is 16-ounce bags. Oh, these guys are for $17. That's the deal right there. That's a deal. Good pricing. Yeah, I don't know if it's, I mean, yes, yeah, I hear you on that, but I think that it's also, it could just be they don't have the detail. Like on that first one from, I don't know, I can't. I mean, it does. I mean, I'm not going to complain because, you know, I do, my coffee comes in 10-ounce bags, so. Roaster, $14 for 12-ounce bags. There we go, 12-ounce. Cafe, 1901 Colombia, 16-ounce for $15. Oh, another deal. Another deal. That's a deal. Deals can be had here. Oh, thanks, Remy Malek. That's right. And Tony's having the Tatuai Private Reserve Corona Gorda and the Diet Cherry Pepsi, of course. No mango Pepsi, huh? I'm still waiting for your deck to be finished so we can come up and try this mango Pepsi. Well, mango cherry. Like you mix the mango and the cherry together. Ooh, here's something. This cigar is just starting to change. There is actually a greater amount of fruitiness, almost like a raspberry kind of dry fruitiness that's just starting to develop now. Like in the last 2 puffs that I've done on it. And Rusty says that he ran out and bought a cherry Pepsi, a Diet Pepsi. It turned out it was Diet Cherry. And he had a welcome surprise. This is not a good sign. This is not a good sign. Oh, also, while we're here, while everyone's here, I was talking with George this past couple of days, during this past week, and with Cirillo, we're going to do that. We're planning to do the visit to the tobacco shop up in Ridgewood, New Jersey, September 9th. So prepare yourselves. September 9th, we're going to go there and have a nice time. And yeah, we're going to do the show from the shop and smoke cigars and hang out. And then it'll probably end up being a late night. And so we'll go and crash at a hotel somewhere up there. And then, yeah, so plan on that if you get away. Thursday, September 9th. That's, 3 weeks from now? I'll put more details down in the show notes. So if you're watching this on the replay, you'll see that down there. And then, yeah, that's it. So mark your calendars, everyone. Mark your calendars. It's going to be a good time. Me, George, Cirillo. I'm presuming that that Rusty and Inting will be joining us because they're nearby. And anybody else that can make the journey, come on up, plan it. No. That's a good point. I was just going to say that. So the schedule that we have now will be bumped. Everything from, let me go look at the schedule here. Everything that we have here. So all of these. So we'll run normal, and then we'll bump the Gran Habano Blue and Green, Gran Robusto, and the Cloud Hopper number 45 another week down, right? So we will be smoking a selection of cigar from the tobacco store. Yeah. So everyone plan on it. Plan on making the trip. It'll be a good time. Oh, I believe it. I mean, from the pictures that we saw that one time, oh, my gosh. Actually, let's, I should pull that up here. The Tobacco Shop of Ridgewood. Yeah, so, I mean, look at this place. Oh, and Rusty wants to know, can we bring drink, food, etc.? Maybe George can give us some information on that. But let's have a look here. Maybe it'll tell us also. The Tobacco Shop of Ridgewood and Davidoff Lounge. Oh, yeah. 2,500 square feet. Personal humidified lockers, private conference room, HD TVs, Wi-Fi, personal and corporate members available, day passes available. We will need the look at that. This is very reminiscent of an old Nat Sherman, right, on 42nd Street. Ooh, that's gorgeous. Look at that. That's gorgeous. So we can bring both food and drink. We all like Gary know in advance. So Rusty, you need to if you got any ideas, let's plan that out. But look at that last photo. I don't know if can we go back and look at that. Maybe we can grab that table or something. Or what do you guys think? Sit at the table, or maybe sit at the table, or maybe one of the lounge chairs. Look at that. Oof. We should probably do something. We'll do a setup maybe where we see the Davidoff Lounge. It's very classic. The retail looking. The retailer looks very classic. Yes, very much so. Thank you, George. George's been instrumental in putting the trip together. That would be epic. Epic. I say yes. Why not? I say yes. Do you have a Kahashina, Rusty? I've always kind of thought about getting one. Actually, and I always think about those kind of things. Like, you just want to have more space. Sorry, but that table is mostly for conference use. They discourage eating there. Oh, okay, great. Great, great. Sounds great. Whoa. I imagine that as accommodating as Gary may be, he might balk a little bit if we arrive with like a Kahashina to cook in his parking lot. Oh, we can reserve space. I guess we can. All right. Excellent. All right, excellent. We might have to go up there early then. Early and get that. How long does it take to cook in the Kahashina? My God, I want to start preparing some sides. So now let's go to that. So we're coming through the first third, right? And it's smoking pretty well. Actually, like, remember I told you it was just starting to get more of that dry fruit. That dry fruit has become a lot more apparent, and the palate's a little bit dry. Oh my gosh. Well, all depends on the trailer. Oh, we can do all day. Excellent, excellent. And Rusty wants to know, if we're not members of the lounge, we'll have to pay to get in that night. I wonder what they normally charge. Oh, there we are. We will all be guests. Courtesy of George. Thank you, George. All right, so enough of this lemony, under-extracted coffee. I'm glad I went downstairs, and I had to go downstairs because I used to have the stash of beverages here, but over the past weeks, I don't know if I mentioned this last week, but I secured a deal with my landlord to expand our space here at the roastery, right? So as you can see here, this building, this is our main space. Now we have behind this building, see this building here, right here where this roof is, this building here has another area. And so I've secured another space there. And George says, day pass is reasonable, but leave it to me. All right. So I've secured another space there. So I've been moving everything into this new space. So we're trying to make the roasting area in this area just much more, not expansive, but just much more open and less cluttered. So those of you who've been here, the next time you come by, it's a big change. It's a big change. Oh, thank you very much. Thank you, George. I think it'll allow us to do a lot more things with clients and guests. But so everything's there. So I had to go before the show. I had to run down there and get. Otherwise, I just won't have the time. So what we're going to be drinking here. Let me pull this up. I decided to change some speed. Oops. This is a Riedel like water glass, and I always get a little bit nervous because it's super thin. So dropping a big ice cube into it makes me a little bit nervous. So we're gonna do the Diplomatico. Actually, I've really been enjoying the Diplomatico. As you can see, it's getting empty. I think that'll be it. I think it'll be a nice accompaniment to the fruitiness of the Robusto. Yeah, the glass, I don't know if it's really, I don't know if it really is fragile. It just feels so fragile, right? You know, but I really got to say, I really kind of enjoy this glass. I feel very soigné drinking out of it. And George Riedel, I didn't know George Riedel was a true cigar. I'm really curious to know more about how they design their glassware. And I wonder if there's a way to design cupware for coffee that would be very, that would help. Yeah, the color is really nice. Look at that. Let's look at that. This Diplomatico, it's such a nice caramely, oh yeah, caramely like flavor. Caramel, sweetness, vanilla. Like I brought some Cokes just in case, and it would be a waste. Guy says, I can't tell how many double wall glass. Double wall glass? You mean like those Bodum type glasses? Yeah, so many glass. Like, that's the problem with some of these. With the Riedels, while they're really nice, they are thin. So, I do get nervous. Like, I have these ones that, I have a pair of Riedel glasses that are meant for, like, Burgundies. They're super big. The ones for real snifting. They're super delicate. I think they were like $50 for like the set. So I was like, oh my gosh. Every time I use them, I'm like, but for the most part, I think, okay, it's getting a little bit long here. I'm going to tap that because it's starting to sag and make me nervous. There is, but it's time consuming, expensive. Talking about the developing a glass for a cup or a vessel for coffee, because you must commission a minimum count. I imagine. And hand wash them. Yeah. The big ones I only wash those by hand. I take them out of the box. And to be honest with you, I don't have that many great wines that I use to drink it. So maybe like 3 times since I've owned them, maybe 4. Take them out, use them, wash them, dry them, put them away. So I have these other ones from Riedel. They are these kind of like these wine tasting designs. So when you're like tasting like multiple wines, you just put a bunch of these out. They're like $7 each. Really, really nice. I mean, like small, but nice shape. They don't recommend drinking from old crystal because of, what's a little bit of lead? It's fine. Yes, they're totally like fine jewelry. You have to put them in the safe, take them out. So far we're moving closer to the second, third. And it's smoking nice. There's a nice, that dry fruit is kind of nice, but it's not, beyond that, it's not terribly thrilling. But I also wonder, like, am I saying this thrilling because, I tend to smoke much more power heavy cigars. Like yesterday I was doing the, what did I do? I did the, that really nuanced cigar. Let me look it up here. Oh, I did the La Instructora Perfection Invicto, which is that kind of tapered, really interesting cigar. Those La Instructoras are very, very interesting in that they got such complexity of flavor, and a good robust like body. And then I followed that up with the Revenge, and so that those are like heavier cigars. And George says, if you like Riedel, worry about the price. Check out Spiegelau. I've heard of the Spiegelau, but I've never seen them. I should go look them up. But I kind of have this like, there is part of me that has this kind of like fantasy of all Riedel. And Matt wants to know, is it John Hornall? Nice. Well, yes. The whiskey, the rum, yes. Is nice. I haven't seen John in a bit. Actually, I haven't seen many people in a bit. I think the last time I saw him, we were in Boston for the SCA conference. Which reminds me, I am planning on going to the SCA conference in New Orleans. What's that, September 30th? Hopefully the Delta doesn't get too crazy. I'm still willing to stay home, but I would like to go and check it out because New Orleans, they have great food at the convention center. Like the best convention center food I've ever had anywhere. Yes, absolutely. That was really a nice cigar. The price point is up there, at $19, $20, but it is quite a nice, enjoyable cigar. Complex. Really one of those cigars you kind of want to sit down and just enjoy. Oh. Well, here's something. Coop's Place, best food. It's interesting that you say that because I was trying to remember this place that I went to. So when we were there in 2016 for the cigar trade show, my buddies from Hawaii and we were going around and we met up at Cafe Du Monde. I'm like, man, I'm kind of hungry. Let's go find something to eat. So we walked down the street, and I could have sworn this place was like on the next block. So I was looking on the map for this place on the next block, and I was like, it's gone. I don't know what happened to it. It's gone. And I remember we ate at this place, and I was like, man, it was just kind of rustic, but they had this great fried chicken. I was like, this fried chicken is crazy good. And what was it? I was looking through my files, my photo files, and I found it because one of our friends in our Hawaii cigar group, he passed away from COVID a couple weeks ago, and so on his memorial Facebook page, people were asking for photos, and I was like, oh, I wonder if I have any pictures. So I was looking, and I found this one, but I was looking through our different trips that we were on together, and I saw the picture where we were all eating at this place, this fried chicken, and it did turn out to be Coop's Place, the place we were talking about, Di. And then I looked it up, and I was like, oh, it's just those things, like you think that something is super close, but it's really like 3 or 4 blocks away. You're like, oh man. But that was that Coop's Place. Yeah, back to that Coop's Place. Very good, very good. Matt wants to know, asking for a friend, is Delta Airlines having a similar branding issue? Perhaps like, what do you mean? I'm not. I'm a United guy, so I don't really know what's going on with Delta. What's going on with Delta? Well, thank you, Matt. I appreciate that. It's a shame. He was hesitant. He was very, very hesitant about getting the vaccine. So he never did. And evidently one of my friends, she was telling me that he never did because he was uncomfortable getting it from like mass vaccination sites or from like the Walgreens, but he really wanted to get it from like his family physician. So I guess maybe someone he could trust. So he never did. And 45 years old. Oh, gosh. I get it. I'm late. I'm slow. I'm very slow. I wonder, though. That is a good question. Delta 5. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. I get it. I get it. I get it. I don't think that people are. I don't know if they have. I wonder. Oh. We should see. We should ask. We should ask our friend Google. Whoops. This is when I wish I could just talk to it. Is Delta having, what was it? Branding issues? Well, Delta is thinking small. I don't know what that means. Maybe they're thinking small to prevent the spread of Delta. I don't know. And Dice says, in a few months, it'll be lambda, lambda, lambda. That it could be. I've read this one report this past week where they said the lambda is supposed to be like truly the killer. Like it's super crazy bad. Oh, here in Maryland, I don't know if you guys know, but if you that don't live here, but Maryland, they're talking now. Or was it Maryland or maybe it was America? They were talking about doing the third dose, the booster shot in the fall. Too soon for gallows humor. Too soon. Too soon. Well, if we can't enjoy it, well. If we can't make gallows humor, we can't make America great again, what are we going to do? I don't know. Speaking of COVID, another friend of ours who does not have COVID, well, we don't think he does. Unfortunately, he called us earlier today and was like, I'm kind of ill, man. My doctor says I have pneumonia. I was like, holy God, man, that's terrible. Pneumonia. Actually, it's strange because he goes, "Oh, good that you have pneumonia, not the COVID." It's like, wow. When did having pneumonia when was pneumonia ever a good thing? So Rusty says someone just asked a question in the Privada FB page. Aged cigars in coffee bean. Aged cigars in coffee beans. And there is a pic of 2 cigars laying on top of roasted coffee. What? What craziness is this? I don't know if I can pull that up. Let's see here. Let's go to my Facebook. Can't show you my logins. You guys might be, I don't know if I can get in there. Privada. Privada Club. Oh, I can't show it. I'm not allowed. Oh, I'll join anyway. Let's see if it'll allow it. Let's see if it'll go quickly. Ooh, pending approval. Can I be here's a Are you a current member and can you be a positive member of this community? This safe space. Yes, I'm a member. Yes, I am a member. I am a member. And can be positive. Can be positive. There's a secret password? Oh, forget it. Too much work. Close that up. Let's just go and let's follow the tour. So evidently there's oh. This is a tour of the lounge at the tobacco shop. Ooh. Oh. Ooh, that's nice. Look at that place. That's crazy nice. All right, so that's what we're in that's what we're in store for. Oh, how do we get out of here? Uh-oh. So that's what we're in store for. I think it looks good. So Matt says third does 8 months after your first. What? Third? Third does 8 months after your first. Okay. So my first was February 26th. So October. Okay, October. So George says on aging cigars in coffee beans is a bad idea, but resting rolled cigars have been placed in used coffee barrels. Yes. You know what I resting rolls? Oh, okay. So empty coffee. But we have. You mean whiskey barrels or coffee barrels? And Tony says in reference to the tobacco shop, looks like you can find a good fee. Yes, absolutely. Gary custom designed and hand built the cigar humidor racks. Oh, that's nice. Oh, was there no audio to the? Oh, darn it! I'm sorry about that. I can hear audio from videos, but I think I have the mixer set up so that it's what we call a mix minus setup, where if I'm playing, so basically like if you were to call in to the, like on Zoom, it wouldn't send out, it wouldn't create a feedback loop. So my apologies. I need to figure out how to do that correct. So next time, but it's you get the idea. So there's a part here where they talk about where Gary's saying that this video. Let's see. I'll pull it up here so you can see. Okay, so he's talking. Let me pull it up here. At this one moment, he's talking about how the lounge is designed to look like what an American thinks a lounge would look like in the United Kingdom, in London. And the funny thing, he even says that the London lounges are not like that. And you know, if you go to James Fox down in Mayfair, they have a lounge upstairs. So you buy your cigars downstairs, you go upstairs. Downstairs you go upstairs, and and it's not quite as elegant as this. It's not too far off, but it's not as nice. It's not as nice. And Di says, going back to coffee, did you hear about Manchester City in the United Kingdom doing edible coffee cups? What? Edible? Don't they do tea? Well, proper tea should be done in glass, in porcelain, right? Although I have seen like a lot of like Brits walk around in like hot cups, teas and hot cups. Then George says, dose, not does. Dose? I'm missing something. I'm missing something somewhere. And then George says, whiskey barrels that were then used. Oh, I see. Okay. Oh, I have not heard of people doing that. All right, so Rusty did send me this photo. I don't know if I can. I don't know if it'll pull it up. Let's see. No, let's go back. Here it is. Okay. All right. So he sent this. This is what's showing in the, what do you call it? So they're taking these cigars and they are, what are these? Liga de la Casdagli. The Cafe 19. Oh, this is their stuff. Okay. And the San Jeronimo. Age your cigars in coffee beans. Huh. I don't know. I mean, it might be interesting, I guess. Yeah, you want that coffee. If you love coffee and you want to have that coffee flavor, sounds good. Sounds good to me. Let's, I'll put that there. Ooh, ooh. Would that do it? You know, I did this experiment years ago where we took tobacco leaves and broke them, tobacco cigars, and broke them up, or had tobacco leaves somehow, cigar leaves, put them in a cedar box, and then put the cigars in there with them to age it. I don't really know if that ever worked. I mean, I imagine that it would give like a coffee flavoring to them. You know, the oils of the coffee would eventually transfer something. I wonder, though. It might be kind of interesting to try. But if you have a nice cigar, do you really want to alter the flavor? Like, if you enjoy the flavor of Pepsi, why would you want to add cherry to it? And George says, trust me, guys, drink your coffee and smoke your cigars, but resist combine. Well, that could be the ultimate in, like, coffee and cigars for one show. But what cigar would you do? Like, you maybe want to do something that's lighter, you know, something that doesn't have too much. Like, would I take a revenge and do that? No. No. Manbacco should not be adulterated. I have to say, though, you know, there was a time when I did find it quite enjoyable to dip the tip of my cigar, the end of the butt of my cigar, in a port wine. You know, maybe a nice Quinto do Vesuvius. Oh, my favorite. Coffee 1901. So is the Coffee 1901? I wonder if is that supposed to be some kind of coffee? Cafe 1901 cigars. Let's have a look. Oops, wrong one. Let me try it again. Cafe 1901 cigars. Here we are. We're going to go into them. Handmade premium cigars from Honduras. A family with a history in Central America since 1901. A company established by Dr. Gabby Cafe. So does that mean that Gabby is the woman or the guy? Oh, let's look. The founder, the Cafes. Oh, Dr. Gabby. Oh, so Dr. Gabby is maybe Gabriel. With one of three siblings, born in Tegucigalpa, the Cafes, you know, here's the thing. Yeah. I've only flown out of Cigalpa, out of Tegu. I've not flown into it. I would like to go on a trip where I would fly into Tegu. The last time I was in Tegu, we actually flew into San Pedro Sula and then took the executive bus, which is some crazy, like 6-hour bus ride. So the cafes have been in Honduras since 1901. Oh, and here Tony says, buy yourself a tobacco especial from True Estate if you want to combine your coffee and cigars. I don't remember liking that one. All right, so that's, he really provides a lot. Nice. Oh, and he's only 44, young guy. And Tony says, other than that, I agree with George in keeping your coffee and cigars separate. Yes, yes, I hear you. So let's see, cafe, what is cafe? So cafe has nothing to do with coffee. So if we were to ask, so if I went to this Dr. Gabby and said, Senor, if I said to him, Senor Cafe, and just said to him, Privada, how would he react? Right? He's a factory owner. Connecticut, Sumatra, San Andreas, Culebras. Oh, Culebras. We seem to be unified here in this idea of separating your stimulants. And George says, big contest coming with Ono Coffee. First prize is a weekend in Tegu. And second prize... I don't know. I can do a lot in 2 weeks in Tegu. Yeah, the last time I was there, I went to do a farm tour with a new farmer. Of course, this is several years ago now. And we're finally starting to bring their coffee in. And nice family, beautiful space in Marcala, which is a couple hours outside of Tegu. I didn't find Tegu to be too bad. Yeah, nobody wants to combine them. So Rusty, in this thread on Facebook, did anyone talk about actually the results of this test, this trial run of? We should keep the Diplomatico close by. So George says, I believe the Cafe Ferme Heritage is actually in the coffee business. Oh. Let's see, there is a oh, look at this guy. This is the guy that came over in 1901. Wonder where he's from. Look at him. The old abuelo looks very Indian or Pakistani. I guess back then just India. Well, yeah, see, Don Chukri Kafi first arrived to Central America at the turn of the century in La Union, El Salvador. Oh, George says Germany. Ah, Germany. Okay, that kind of makes sense with the name, coffee. But Chukri. He looks though he doesn't look quite German though, does he? Oh, maybe these pictures they look more German. Well, they look more mixed. Each member of our ever-growing family can be best described as very eccentric, talented, motivated, hardworking, visionary, and humble. Nice. I like the eccentric part. So the past 3 generations have shared a love for cigars. It did say somewhere that they have a background in agriculture. So I imagine that does include the coffee side. Oh, nice, nice. It doesn't really say, but okay, good. And then Tony's telling Rusty, next time they're back in stock, try the Privada Lonsdale Habanos. They were excellent. Maybe why they... Oh, from Germany? Well, they left in 1901, so... I doubt that it would be for questionable reasons that some Germans would leave in the mid-1940s for. Tony says it's a great 375 cigar, and his didn't last for more than a month. Smoked them like an open... Yeah, that's exactly how I smoked these Revenges. Like an open bag. Like I had a full box just the other day, and I've smoked half of it already. Love for cigars doesn't mean growing or... Yes, but you know, it's the most expensive way to get free cigars. It's just like people are like, oh, you get to drink all the free coffee you want. Yeah, but it's not free. It's the most expensive coffee. Oh, okay, so Rusty now has sent me a message where he's sending me the thread. So let's have a look. So the guys are saying, got to put them in something breathable to keep them from direct contact. The oils from the beans can leach in the cigar. And then Lloyd Mirafuentes, the author, says he doubts that. Well, I don't know why he would doubt that. I mean, they're in contact. The oils would transfer. Oh, Gabby Caffey, this is the guy. This is the guy. He says, just do it, trust me. Been doing it for years. It's awesome. Tobacco is natural in it. So do the beans. Let the sugars marry. Have patience and enjoy. How much coffee do you add to the humidor? A thin layer in the bottom. Just make sure they're fully covered. Oh. Then another guy asks, once cigars are placed in the beans, how long is the optimal time? 2 weeks. Oh, yeah, per the guys over at Boveda, you can use their product. Well, I don't know if you need to worry about that. Like coffee's freshness isn't really determinant upon the moisture content, because like the moisture content of coffee when we receive it as green beans should not be more than 11% humidity. Like if it is over 11%, you're going to have problems. So normally our coffee runs anywhere between 10.5 to 11% humidity, where when you roast it, you're roasting it down to about 2 to 3% humidity. So at that point, it's a very different kind of beast as far as like humidification. I think that, yeah. So I think that's a little bit sketchy. Well, not sketchy, but that's not quite. I think that if you were to put a Boveda though into a container that has the coffee and the cigars, I wonder how much. I wonder if the coffee would act hydroscopically and pull moisture into. Oh, that might be interesting to at least try. George says cigars are hygroscopic. They absorb dramatically. Oh, that'd be interesting. That'd be interesting to see. And then Honduran cigar business jump started by the. Yeah. I mean, George, you would know this better, but I'm presuming that prior to the Cuban diaspora, there was no production or maybe very, very small production of cigars in Central America. Is that correct? And then George says, once you try that, well, I wouldn't put that in my humidor. I'd probably put them in a bag, like a Ziploc bag that he can throw away. Just put a thin layer of coffee beans with that half box of Revenges you have and stick them in your... Oh. I'd have to take them out of the cello. Or maybe I wouldn't. Cello is porous, right? So there are no export factories. You mean back before the diaspora? It could be that time. Well, speaking of which, we should talk a little more about the cigar because we are smoking this fruit leather LCA Robusto, and it's getting towards the end of the second third, and it's got that like dried fruit character to it. It's pleasant. It's got medium body. It's got a tight-ish draw. But it's not too tight. It's just tighter than. Then you'd have smelly cello. Well, smelly cello. Oh yes, prior to the crew. Okay. The Cuban Revolution. Well, I don't know about the Cubans, but these guys from where are these guys from? Venezuela have got it going on. They got it going on with the Diplomatico. So much so that we should do a little bit more. This is why I don't sit around drinking much. We're going to do another round. But going back to the tobacco shop, the Ridgewood thing, he said that we're talking about how London cigar shops don't look like how Americans think, and that's true. And one time I was in London, and I called up my cousin. I said, "Hey, I'm coming to town," and he actually lives. He's married to my cousin, but he was like they live about an hour outside of Central, and so I tell him, "Hey, I'm coming to town. If you guys are free to get together," I said, "Oh, you know what? We're gonna put you up in a hotel." I said, "No, you don't have to do that. That's absolutely not necessary." He said, "No, we insist. We're gonna get you a hotel. I'll come down. We'll stay. We'll hang out." I was like, "All right, that's very kind of you." So he reserves a hotel room in Rose Court, which is kind of central, on the western side of Central. Nice area. Actually, there's a lot of Filipino restaurants in Earl's Court. I was really surprised to find that out. And it was called the St. Jonathan or something like that. St. Joseph, I think it was called. And we get there, check in, and man, I've stayed in some pretty funky places, but this, of all places I've ever stayed, this is a place that I was scared to stay in. Like it was like a crack house. It looked like a crack house. It was 90 quid, so 100 US dollars. And it was just God, their shithole is really the only descriptive I can think that would be remotely accurate to what this place was like. I mean, it was scary. Like it looked like you would do drugs and pass out from heroin there. I mean, that kind of decrepit, dirty, bugs. I mean, really just disgusting. But I got there first, checked in, got the room. He probably came about an hour later, and I could tell he was embarrassed. Like he was really, really embarrassed, right? Like he didn't know. He just kind of looked it up and thought they'd be fine. And man, the look on his face. And, because he paid for it, and I want to be gracious. I was willing to sleep there that night. I was like, no. He's like, let's get another place. I was like, no, you don't do that. Like, well, we can stay here. He's like, no. But then he was so embarrassed he had to insist on it. I was like, oh God, all right, fine, thank you, Jesus. So he rented another place. This really swanky place, just a couple blocks away, also in Earl's Court. It was like 250 quid a night. And this place was like sweet. Like this, you want to stay. This is where you stay in London. You're like, this is a nice place to stay. But it was 250 quid. And he'd already spent like 180 quid for 2 rooms at this other place. So he was tapped out. He was like, I'm going to go home. I thought, oh, well, let's hang out a bit, man. Let's hang out a bit. So I said, let's go have a cigar. And so we went, I took him out and we went out. And I was looking on my phone for places to go for smoking. And there was a hotel not too far, right on, I think it's on Kensington High Street, close to Kensington. And it's called the Wellesley Hotel. And they have a beautiful cigar lounge, an outdoor cigar garden in the front. And it's really nice. So I was like, okay, we'll get a cigar, we'll have a drink and be easy night. And cigars are not cheap in London, but they're not terribly expensive. I mean, they're not cheap, but they're not crazy. However, the Wellesley, in order for you to have a cigar there, we arrived and we're like, we'd like to have a cigar. And they're like, well, there's a 50 quid minimum per person. Oh shit, 100 quid. I was trying to live cheaply on this quick trip, and so there I was in at the Wellesley, and my cousin had just forked out 350 quid for me to stay somewhere, so I couldn't maybe it's even more. It cost me like 150 quid for us to spend that night there, to spend that evening smoking cigars. And it was pretty tight on me, and I was like, oh, that's more than I want. But of course, now I was the guy that was embarrassed. I was like, well, I can't cheap out on my cousin now that he spent all this money. So we had a good time. It was a good time. It's always nice there. And George says there's the Ibis in Earl Court. Oh, I didn't know there was an Ibis there. I've stayed at a few Ibis. Very nice. And it has a cigar garden. Excellent, excellent. Or is that the you're talking about the Wellesley? Yeah, the bill. Well, it was like the last time I was at James Fox, so I got diverted on a trip through Europe, and they sent me to Heathrow instead of to Frankfurt, and so I had a 12-hour layover in Heathrow. So I was like, what am I gonna do? The lounge is nice, right? The senators, the Lufthansa Senators Lounge in Heathrow is really, really nice. However, it's not nice enough that you want to really stay there for 12 hours. And with 12 hours, I was like, well, I could just pop into Central and just enjoy myself. My plan was to go down to Mayfair, have some afternoon tea at Fortnum's, at their Diamond Jubilee room. But of course, when I got there, unfortunately, they had a private event, so the Diamond Jubilee room was closed. So I was like, well, I'm out of here. Walked over to James Fox and got a cigar. I talked to this one guy, I guess he's the only Latino guy that works there. Really nice guy. And I said to him, what country exclusive do you have right now? And I forgot which brand it was, but there was a country exclusive. 55 quid. It was like $60, something like that. I was like, oh, well, whatever. I'm only here for a few hours. Went upstairs, started smoking, and man, that thing was like either tunneling or plugged. It was all messed up. And normally I might not say anything, but I was like, $55 or 50 quid, I'm going to say something. So I went back downstairs. I said to him, hey man, there's a problem with this, like plugged. And he was kind of embarrassed, and he was kind of he was very accommodating. He got another cigar from me, and he put it all together, and he was like, you know what? You're not from here, are you? I said, no, I'm from the U.S. He's like, I knew it. I was like, why do you ask? He's like, because you know what? British guys would never say anything. It's like, we want to take care of them, but they would never say anything. So I was like, okay, good. Next time I will ask you, George. I'll let you know next time. The Wellesley, it was fun. It was nice. It was beautiful. The interior lounge was lovely. I would have liked to have sit out there, but it was kind of the fallish, so it was cool outside, and they had the heaters running. It was really pretty, a really pretty way to do an outdoor, urban kind of garden on a sidewalk. So they put you've been there. They had the shrubberies around the space. I thought it was really, really nicely done. It just was like, oh, that drink was $25. Yes, absolutely. I don't know if I got any food either. I think I just went to the cigar. Maybe I grabbed a bite somewhere. Maybe I had a Scottish egg from like Marks and Spencer. Yeah, it was expensive. That cigar at James Fox was definitely one of the pricier cigars I bought. But London is growing on me. Like the first time I went to London was 2008. Like I did a lot of travel, but most of it in my younger years was really to Asia. I only really started branching out like in the last 15 years. And so I remember when I first went to London, and it was all right. And I've been there successively, you know, several times over the years. And the more that I've gone, the more that it has grown on me. Like I'm enjoying it more and more. And George says, try the Sahakian Lounge at the Bulgari. And you know, interesting, Sahakian is the Davidoff guy, right? And there's that guy. What's that guy? There's a guy on YouTube, and he's an Anglophile. No, what is his name? Kirby Allison. He's from Dallas, and he does all these videos like about being dapper and being a well-dressed gentleman, and he loves cigars, but he's that kind of guy that's only about Cuban cigars. And he has a few videos where he interviews Sahakian, trying to, choosing the correct cigar and all that. Interesting stuff. He's an interesting cat. He seems like one of those guys that's like really into, like he's super geeky about being into like clothing and style, but he seems like he would be socially a little bit awkward if you were to hang out with him. Like I don't know if he could really like wind down and just kind of relax. But I had a dream about him, actually. I had a dream one night, I had this dream that he had opened a boutique in Miami. And I was in Miami, and I went to visit this boutique, and they had bar and cigars and clothing and hats. I was like, it was very strange. I was just like wandering around this place. That was it. George says, London is like in New York City. You need an insider. That always helps. And Di says, fish and chips wrapped in newspaper. I found a great fish and chips shop, and I think it's closed now. It was, so my buddy, one of my good friends, he has a house. Well, he has a flat just off of Kensington High Street, like one block up. I think it's called Church Street. We stayed there in 2014. And basically you walk up from Kensington High Street to the next big crossroad. I think it's right at the edge of Notting Hill. And there was this place called Royal Fish and Chips. And they had great fish and chips. And their mushy peas had this beautiful, perfect texture and buttery flavor. But I think when I looked it up again recently on Google, it had closed. But I thought it was really, really great. And so Edward Sahakian is the greatest gentleman in the business. Yes, I do mean the YouTube guy. That guy, Kirby Allison. Yeah, he's the one that we a little bit more. No, I think from what I've seen in the video, Sahakian looks like you could hang out with him and just be like, and he'd be chill and just kind of laughing along with stuff. So the cigar is doing nicely. Still got that like fruitiness, that dry fruit. Pleasant, very enjoyable. It's pleasant and enjoyable. It doesn't tickle me like other cigars have. Like last week's cigar, that Warzone Espinosa. I would like to get more of those. More for just kind of like daily, regular smoking. Because I find personally that it has some of the flavor notes that are similar to the Revenge, but without the heavy duty powerhouse that it is. Like I think I could sit there with the Warzone and just casually smoke it, where this one you kind of have to pay attention to it and like At least in my world, you have to have I'd have to have the ventilation just right. Oh, yeah, yeah. But another great city that I think for cigars is Tokyo. Tokyo has a couple nice lounges that I've been to. One of the really nicer ones that I've been is a place called Le Connoisseur. They have a couple locations around the city, but I've mainly been to the one in Ginza. And that's really kind of swanky. Like you come up to the entrance, and they're only open at night. And in the window, they have like the walk-in humidor. And it's got this beautiful display when you walk in. It's got this lovely, all the cigars are like in little bins. And you choose, and they cut and light it for you. And then there's like a lounge area in the center of the store. And in the very back is the bar area. And this bar is like long and like glitzy and like super nice. Actually, I like a lot of people will talk about going to that place at the Park Hyatt in Shinjuku. I like Connoisseur better. Like we've gone to that place. What is it, 60th, the 59th floor, or whatever it's called at the Park Hyatt, the one that was made famous by Lost in Translation. So on my first return to Tokyo in 2007, because I hadn't been there in like, almost 17 years. And one of my really good friends, Moo, she was like, let's go to the Park Hyatt. I said, all right. You can smoke cigars there and we can drink champagne. She loves champagne. So she always wants to drink champagne. And so, but I like the Le Connoisseur. And then the last time we were there, Moo and I were going out and we were going to go to Le Connoisseur. But Le Connoisseur, for some reason, this one night was closing. Like right before right after we got there, they were like, we're actually closing soon. And I don't know I can't remember if it was a special event or something like that, but we bought some cigars and then walked down the street, found this other bar, just kind of a little bit more rustic, also in Ginza, just down the street. And they let us smoke there, so we kind of smoked in this bar and had a great old time. That's the nice thing about Tokyo, is that they're very modern, but they don't have the draconian like cigar smoking laws that we have here. Like my favorite coffee shop, Cafe del Hombre, also in Ginza. Like the original owner, he was a big pipe smoker. So he smoked his pipe all the time, and it's this old school Japanese cafe, and they're open till 10 p.m. and I'll go there, and I'll bring my revenge. I don't remember what was it. I only realized this like maybe in 2015. I happened to be there, and I asked the nephew Hayashi, and I was like, "Can I smoke this?" Because people were smoking cigars and pipes, and I was like, cigarettes. I was like, "Can I?" He was like, "Oh yeah." Man, ever since then, anytime I go to this cafe, I'm smoking cigars. It's a fantastic. The meter in the Park Hyatt, like that first time we went, or maybe the second time, I wasn't really planning on going out to a nice place, so I was wearing shorts and like maybe a shirt like this. And the guy, the maitre d', the concierge, whatever he was, the guy at the entrance, he was like, "You have to wear pants." And my friend Moo, she's fairly well connected, and she handled this guy. Like they gave me a pair of pants to bring with me, but there's no restaurant in the world that's gonna have pants that fits me. But we were able to hang out there. It was good. It was a good time. Inting's back. What's going on, Inting? Hey, man, how you doing? Thanks for tuning in. Just to catch you up, we're going to be coming to the tobacco shop in Ridgefield, in your neck of the woods, on Thursday, September 9th. We're going to do the live stream from the lounge, and we're going to have a little gathering. So put that on your schedule, September 9th, to come down to the tobacco shop in Ridgewood. Oh, and you're in Cebu now? What? Why are you there, man? I thought they're not letting us in. And I thought ECQ is happening. How is it? So tell us, how is it there? What's going on in Cebu, in the Philippines? What's happening? How is the only people that I know that have gotten vaccines are friends who are well-to-do enough that they have flown to the United States. They've One of my friends, him and his wife flew to Guam from Manila to get the vaccine, and they flew home. Ridgewood, yes, thank you. Yes, we all want to know. And what? It's 9:45 in the morning, man. That's a hell of a commitment. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for tuning in. Are you smoking out there right now, by the way? I'm in Man. So what's I haven't been back to Manila since May of 2019. What's the situation? Any idea what the situation with cigar smoking is out there? If you get back to Manila, and I don't know if they're open, but my friends that I hang out with in Manila we go to a place called the Riedel Room. That's at Albert's Steakhouse in Makati in the South Central Village. So if you get back to Manila and you want to see, I don't know if they're open, you give them a call and see if they're open. But if they are, usually the guys get together 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, and then go till like maybe 1 or 2 in the morning on a Tuesday. It's pretty crazy. Like, we'll go there and, man, I won't even go. I won't even think of going to the cigar lounge. It's a whiskey lounge. I won't even think of going there until what? Until 10 o'clock. But if you end up going there to Manila, to Albert's in the Riedel Room, presuming they're open, presuming the guys are there, tell them I said hello, tell them you know me, and tell the girls you'd like a sip of my rum. I got a bottle of Florida Caña 7 there that I left, and I imagine it's still there because they tend not to drink it. Everybody likes whiskeys. And George wants to know, Inting, who monitors the quarantine there? I mean, I know in some cities I've heard where people, like, where the government actually checks in. Like, I think in Bangkok it was like that. For a while, I think even Honolulu was like that. Like the government, like the police would check in on you in Honolulu, like during the middle of the pandemic a year ago. It's not like that now. People are going buck wild in Honolulu. So we're smoking the fruit leather LCA Robusto from Privada Cigar Club. It's got a lot of dry fruit tones to it. Not bad. Not bad. Wow, someplace making... Wow, that's crazy. Wow. They have military personnel in the lobby and cameras in the hallway. Wow, yeah. I remember you when you were there last year. So if you're there for 10 days, quarantining, how long are you there total? Will you be back in time for our sojourn to the tobacco shop? Military in the hotel, that's pretty serious. Yeah, I've been wondering, like, what it's like there, because my friends in Manila, like, I see them posting to Instagram, and they seem to be living their normal life. So I'm like, well, must not be too bad. Yes, we want to know, will you make it to the Ridgewood on the 9th? Calm down. Come back home. Come down. Let's have a cigar. So the cigar's taking a little bit of a turn. It's starting to get a little bit drier on the palate. Maybe not as enjoyable. This Diplomatic Reserve Exclusiva is definitely powering me on. The draw is also getting a little bit tighter at this point. The oiliness is still there on the wrapper. Look at that. All right, so let's look at a little bit of. There's not too much coverage. Oh, look at this guy. Oh, you'll probably miss it. Oh, that's understandable. Be there till the end of September. Wow, end of September. 200 cigars. That's hilarious, dude. 200. Wow, man, that's serious, man. How much are you smoking when you're there? 200 for a month. I imagine you must be giving some to friends or something. I mean, I'll go there for like 2 weeks. Maybe I'll bring a box of the Revenge, so maybe 12. Because maybe I'll only smoke 1 or 2 a night. Maybe 2 a night. Oh, so yeah, probably 24. Probably more. At least he has a cigar. Yes, he has the cigars covered like a mother. That's a serious travel right there. 200. Man, you got it covered more than anybody that I know. Like, I don't know, George, when you travel, do you bring this many cigars? I know I don't. Not that many. That's way, way impressive. You got to be prepared. That's Boy Scout, Eagle Scout right there. So like I was saying, there's not too much information online about this cigar. And then there's not very many reviews. And none of the major, I didn't find anything on Half Wheel. But I did find this one place. This one guy, Tiny Tim Blog. Oops, not that one. Oh, Inting says, learn from last year, I ran out and had to order. All right, man, so at 200 cigars for a month. All right, I'm going to get the calculator for this one. That's 6 cigars a day. 6.66. I don't know. I don't know about that. I mean, once in a while, I'll call up a buddy of mine there who runs Tabacalera in the Philippines. And he'll come out, and their cigars aren't too bad. They're not bad. I mean, I kind of enjoy them once in a while. Yeah, do they even notice at that point? Well, then again, I don't know, Rusty, like, depending on who you are, like, I don't recall, I don't think I've ever been checked coming into the Philippines at customs. Usually they just kind of fair them out. Distribution of LCA is too limited to make major. That's probably true. That's true. And yeah, share. Well, anyway, so like I was saying, this guy, Tiny Tim, and look at this guy. Look at him. He's all bare-chested, Mr. Clean looking, with the Village People type of mustache. Fruit leather. So let's see what he has to say. First third at 93. Wow. Test draw of the cutting was good. Initial flavors were leather, citrus, light citrus peel, and nutmeg. Black pepper. Cigar medium body towards medium to full. I would urge you to have a clean palate before smoking the cigar. I suggest having an apple followed by several swallows of water to cleanse. Wow. Moving through the second third, 51 minutes. The leather has increased. Yeah, for sure. Look at that. That's a great look. I love it. Second third, 91. Slight bitterness. Leather, little citrus, very good lingering black pepper. I just had more of the fruit leather. I mean, more of the dry fruit. His cigar lasted for an hour and 11 minutes. Bitterness decreased the final third, 92 for the final third. Overall score, 92. I don't know if I quite have the same reaction to this one. And then let's look at this. Oh, this is Cigar Art. Cigar Art's just selling them. Cigar, well, this one guy here, smoking things. Absolute great cigar. So much flavor, yet really smooth. Enjoyed greatly. One of July's LCA cigars. That's all he had to say. And that was pretty much everything that I found on this cigar. I mean, that's the first thing I thought of. That guy, you know the guy. You know the guy. So what are you doing there in Cebu? Are you just visiting family? Just hanging out? I would like to do that. Do you stay with family? Oh, no, you're staying in a hotel. Do you actually stay with family when you're there, though? I have found that, so my brother lived in Manila from 2012 to 2015. So I started going there quite often because my niece and nephew were there. So I would go there like, one year I was there 4 times in a year, which was the most. And what I found is that, like when you're Filipino and you go back to the Philippines to visit, normally your family wants you to stay with them. And then, you stay with family and they have big parties and everyone gets together. You see all your cousins and all your aunts and uncles, and it's an interesting time, but you don't really get time to yourself. And so I like to hang out and do my own thing. So since I started going there for work, because I was actually judging competitions there as well, that's really what brought me there for a lot of them. And I found that I enjoyed staying at the hotels much better. Like I would get together with my cousins, call them up, be like, hey, let's hang out. But also, your cousins, your bigger family, when you're there a lot, if you go there if you go there like once a year, multiple years in a row, it's no longer, your visit there is no longer special to everyone. So everybody lets, of course their normal lives are going on. So there's not as much there's not as much big family gatherings. Like the last time I went in 2019 with my aunt needed someone to fly with her, so I flew with her. And she was there for like over a month, and I was just there for like a week and a half. Like that was the only time that I saw everybody to get together because my aunt doesn't go back very often. So that was kind of interesting. Tony says, should have gone with the Southern Draw. Lady Killer might have been a better choice. Well, we can always go back. We can always get more Southern Draw. They're nice cigars. My son's birthday on September 6th. Oh, nice. Well, happy birthday to your son, and congratulations on the first year. That's a fantastic time. I'm sure there's going to be some lechon. Although in Cebu, it's the... do they do the full lechon, or is it just the Cebu style lechon, which is for those who are not familiar, the Cebu style is basically they take the pork belly and they fill it with different herbs. One of the biggest herbs, of course, that they're using is lemongrass. They roll it, and then they put that in the spit, and they roast that over charcoal. But I don't know. Maybe I guess in Cebu, I imagine they probably do the whole thing. And hope the party's blast, absolutely. Guys, that's no full lechon. Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, that's what I'm wondering too. Is like, do they do the full or? Cold San Miguel. You know what my cousins I used to do? So my cousins out in the province, my mom's side is from a province up north of Manila called Nueva Ecija, and it's super like country, and it's super like it's all agriculture. My mom's family was heavily into rice agriculture, so we would usually get together there at someone's house, and they would bring the San Miguel crate or stacks of crates. And I remember in the 90s, the big drink, we would do the San Miguel, the pale Pilsen. But it was never cold. It was always like just room temperature. And room temperature there is like 85, 90 degrees. So you'd sit there in a circle, get a bottle, you get your glass, and you get an ice, you fill the glass with ice, and you pour it over ice. And that's how we drank San Miguel all through the 90s. Over ice, and sometimes as a shandy, so we'd mix it with like Sprite. George got a hop-off battery dying, and now Well, all right, George. Have a great week. Thanks for tuning in. Really appreciate you being here. Enjoy the week there. Oh, okay, okay. So the lady killer is their LCA release. Ah. All right, we'll catch up with you next week. I'll be in touch for this week, talk more about the details. So I guess the big question is that we always want to know, would I buy it again? We're still through in the last third. It's a long time to answer the question, isn't it? Maybe really means probably not, because while it's been an interesting cigar with a lot of like dry fruit notes to it, which I think is pleasant, it just doesn't pop for me. Like, it's not hitting me in the way that I like. Like, it doesn't speak to me like the Revenge, right? It doesn't speak to me in the way the Revenge speaks, or even that Warzone Espinosa. And it's pleasant. It's a pleasant cigar. And if I got it if I got it as part of a pack from Privada, I wouldn't be disappointed. But I don't know if I would actually seek it out again. And especially right now, at this point, it's actually more of a chore to smoke, because now the palate is dried out. Yeah. All right. So we're at 10 o'clock now, so I guess we should wrap things up. I'm going to put this down because it's reached a point where it's just dry on the palate, and it's not really that exciting anymore. All right, so that's pretty much it. Thank you for tuning in. That's been another great week of... Oh, and Rusty wants to know, Tony, you're going to drive up to Jersey with us? The answer should be yes. It's only a night. You can leave early and be back in time for work. So next week, we're going to be doing the Villa Casdagli Robusto. And then on September 2nd, we'll be doing the Lampert 1675 Azul Toro. And then, of course, the 9th, we're going to be in New Jersey on the road. So we'll have a different cigar than our normal schedule that's in the notes below. Then on the 16th, we're going to be having the Gran Habano Blue and Green Gran Robusto. And then the week after, the Cloud Hopper number 485. So that's what's coming up. If you'd like the cigars to smoke along with me, give Rahul a call at Tobacco Leaf. He's got them all in stock and ready to go. What else is there to say? Well, thank you. I appreciate you spending another week with here on Thursday night. We're back in next Thursday night, 8 o'clock. On Thursday, the 26th. So until then, have a great weekend and see you next time.